That's weird. What's not working about it? Yo, everyone! We are here for the 10th, I believe, installment of Retro Games Racing. How is everybody doing today?
It is.
I am joined here by our last month's winner, Manix86. How are you doing, Manix?
I'm good, thanks. It's good to join you, Cove. So, just a quick update. Unfortunately, I have to commentate. I was supposed to race, but we have somebody that couldn't make it. So, for you guys, I will be commentating instead. But we have tons of good runners that we'll be able to watch here today.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really fun race. So Manix, you picked Journey to Silius as one of the 3 games that were up for racing. Like, what made you want to choose this game?
That's a great question. It's a game I was thinking about much before I even had a pick. Like I said, if I would get a choice, this is one of them. But I also learned that it was really, really hard. So I decided,
yes, it most definitely is very hard.
So I said maybe I'll switch my choices around. So I started looking at other options, and finally I just said no. I'm gonna stick to it. That was my heart pick, and sure enough, that was the majority voted game. So here we are today, Journey to Silius.
We're just trying to get the IRC race set up, and then we should be ready to go.
So, Ko, how much of this game do you know? I know you ran it for maybe a big 20 or something like that at an earlier time. Have you looked at it recently?
I have not looked at it since last fall. It was in Big 20 number 7, which that race was, I think, one of the very beginning of September of last year. And so I practiced it a decent amount in August. There are a couple death warps you can do in stage 3 and stage 3 and 4. And there's a quick kill on the last boss that you can do, but all of them are very, very tough to do and very risky. So I'm interested to see who out of this group is actually going to try to do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to see. Zenkaroshi will definitely go for them. I think Booba and Billy Mays might. Other than that, I'm not really sure at what comfortable level that the players have gone, but we will definitely see some attempts of warps. There's a setup that you can lose minimal time, which we'll talk about closer when it happens, but there's like a safe warp method, so to speak, so they lose minimal time if it fails. So I think that's what we're going to see today.
It looks like most of our runners are in the race room. We should be getting started probably in less than 3 minutes. That's a very exact guess, but that's what we're going with.
Awesome. Yeah, we have 3 runners that are within a minute of each other, and the others are not too far behind. So I think anything could happen today. We've seen it at races. It's just because you have the best PB coming into the race, it doesn't mean that you cross the finish line first on race day. So I think everybody has a shot.
Just a little bit of technical difficulties real quick on the IRC side for the SRL race. But yeah, we will be getting started very, very shortly.
I hope everybody's excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm cautiously excited. This is similar to like our Super Mario Brothers 2 race. It's a really tough, unforgiving game, and so there could be a lot of heartache in this game if people make mistakes.
Yeah, and for such a short game, it is packed with tech. There's glitchless tech like running faster and making sure you time all your shots. There's some mashing involved, so good mashers will probably have a small advantage in some spots of the game. There's some glitches which let you skip part of the game. There's some fast strats for bosses. Like, this game is extremely packed with the. I don't know if I'll be able to cover everything. I'll do my best, but it's fun to play, and I'm excited to see. Well, we're going to see a lot of different strats, I think, as well. So probably have to see a little bit of everything and show off the game even more.
Yeah, it should be good as soon as we can get it started. I'm a little sad that I can't listen to the music for it, because this game has such good music. Like, every stage, the music is just amazing.
Yeah, it's the downfall of commentating, isn't it?
It is.
But we get to rewatch it and enjoy all of it.
That is true. So has anyone else out there in the chat played Journey to Silius? And if so, like, what do you guys think of it? What Prizzy said is actually pretty true. If you're trying for like optimal strats, this is a really rough game.
And I believe Prizzy is the highest, has the best PD on the board of people who have not done Death Corps in their personal best. So he's got a sub 12, I believe it's an hour and 55 without any warps whatsoever.
On a side note, Prizzy also destroyed everyone in that Big 10 or Big 20.
I have a feeling we'll be saying that a lot in Prizzy's career, destroying this and that. Looks like our runners are ready. We'll be starting any moment.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun. But yeah, Prizzy is an amazing runner. If you guys don't follow Prizzy, you should go follow Prizzy. I will shout out anyone who wins a Big 20 just in dominating fashion. But we are off. This is going to be good.
So we are off. So this is stage 1. It's not very difficult. It's a couple things. We'll talk about the mechanics. This game goes really fast. So much like a lot of Mega Man games and stuff, you're limited to 3 bullets on screen. So players will be shooting bullets proactively before they get to a certain spot, so that as soon as they scroll an enemy on the screen, they get 3 shots on them. This will allow them to keep going right without stopping, so to speak. There is a tech. If you hold up, you can lock your speed to go faster. I don't know how many players will go for that today. It is difficult to master. It looks like nobody has decided to do so. Zenga's already at the first boss, so there's that little mini boss they killed. So they'll switch to machine gun here. They basically can just hold down their button and shoot some bullets. You'll see the blue marks at the top. That's your ammo for your additional weapons. So this helicopter will drop, I call them turkeys. Call them what you want. They'll drop like 3 enemies, and you kind of want to jump into their own jump. Otherwise, you start flopping around. See that on the maze screen. If you miss one, you just kind of start running around, costing you quite a bit of time.
Yeah, it definitely does cost you time if you don't get them right away when they appear.
We're also already seeing one change here. Oh, the Bitfall just died. You guys don't see him on the screen, I believe, currently, but he did take a death, so he'll be falling behind. The helicopter part is not too difficult. You gotta watch, don't jump into the blade because you can get one-shot killed, so players stand back. You just gotta shoot it in the little gem at the top of the helicopter. Stage 2 is like undergrounds or space base, or call it what you will, but this stage is actually one of the ones that has the least glitches. Like, it's a pure tech, there's no warps or anything, but there's a lot of damage strats, and you gotta watch your health. This is the stage that you have to be careful with the most with your health.
Yeah, that second cannon guy is really hard to kill without getting hit too.
Yeah, you can crouch in front of him, but it's near pixel perfect on where to crouch, otherwise he still hits you. You'll notice on Zenka's screen, when you come up on an elevator, if you're hanging more to the right, there's a brief period where the elevator screen goes up. You can actually start walking to the right and scroll the screen, so everything appears quicker, but you're also more on the edge of the screen, which gives you less time to mash through enemies. But it does give you a favorable pattern in some cases where some enemies might not have time to shoot, especially those little balls that shoot in a 360-degree angle is mainly why you do that, so you get favorable bullets.
Yeah, you just have to be really careful that you know exactly what's coming up if you're going to be on the right side of the screen.
Alright, so we got the tank boss, the tank with the claw. I don't even know his real name. It's a relatively simple boss. You just have to jump at your apex and shoot 2 missiles. And it's worth noting, to shoot 2 missiles or weapons at the peak of your jump, players tend to mash too quick, and it's more a timing thing than it is a mash. So I usually just go tap tap in my head and kind of tap at that rhythm to make sure you get 2 bullets. He does lob these little pink balls that can hit you even though you kill him, so if you only have 1 health, you have to be careful. Looks like every runner... Butters took an intentional death. He was maybe worried about just what I mentioned there about taking that death and losing some ammo, so he's just going to take it fresh. Meanwhile, Booba and Butters are already on stage 3. I would think this is the hardest stage to master in the game. There's tons of deboost strats. Zenka is already doing it marvelously, so he did some rigorous deboost there and basically skipped everything. And here we're going to see the first edition of Death Warps. So to explain this very quickly, there's a specific pixel after you come off the elevator that if you step on it, the screen will start scrolling. If you jump in the air and do what we call a micropixel move, which is basically doing a 1 frame movement to the left while in the air, you'll basically trick the game into scrolling you further than you should have, and when you die, you respawn at a further point. So unfortunately, Zenka got a small one because he died earlier. Booba didn't, but as you can see, they're still very close because at the end of the day, they die where a respawn would take them in the case of a regular death. So that's what I was mentioning earlier, that they're going to take some low risk death warps. It's still a pretty good race. We got 4 players on stage 3, and Bitfault, which is not yet on screen, is just starting it a little bit behind. Really just the death on the helicopter that's pushing him behind, but every player is showing similar. Okay, Zenka took an intentional death here. It takes about 6 HP. I'm curious if he's going to go for the fast strat here, which takes about 6 HP. No, he's going to take it safe. This screen is probably the most difficult of the game. I think the experienced runners such as Chambers or Toad, which are 1 and 2 on the board, also mention this. To go fast on the screen is pretty damn hard. There's a lot of these flying enemies. If you don't kill them, they just kind of stick to you, and it's like extremely hard to shake them off. Alright, so we got the first mini boss here. Basically, if you crouch underneath his head, it's a safe spot, so you just kind of shoot homing missiles. It takes 11 shots. This first boss on stage 3 is not very difficult. It does have a core. You just shoot missiles into it, and there's a bunch of little bullets around that you want to avoid, but they don't do all that much damage, so you can just kind of tank the damage. And
casually, it can definitely be pretty pretty intimidating though, because you just see things flying everywhere, and it can be tough to get into a rhythm where you avoid them all.
Exactly, and there's that one safe spot where you can avoid about 80% of the hits without doing anything, which I strongly recommend. Not like I still personally use that strat, especially if you're trying to go fast in the previous screen, you're going to take some damage. We have, like, we're not quite frame per frame here between Booba and Zenka, but it's pretty damn close. We're going to see another Death Warp attempt from either player, I imagine, here, just off the second elevator. The cool thing about this one is as soon as you drop down the elevator, you're already on the pixel that you need. So you'll just see the runners... Oh, Booba didn't even go for it. So if Zenka takes a warp here from his setup, he's going to have a significant lead. Could be between 40 seconds and a minute of a boost if he gets like a optimal one, because they are chance based, unfortunately. But the further he dies in the level, the less time he saves, but the higher chance is to warp. So it's kind of like pick your battles here. We'll see. Yeah, he did get the second best one, so that's really good. He saved about 25 seconds, I would say, right there. So you'll see a big lead change right now. And you see Billy Mays coming up the elevator. That's the entire section that Zenkaroshi has skipped, and it's not an easy one. There's a lot of stoppage, blades, enemies flying. Stage 4 is pretty brutal, so you definitely want to be able to skip some of it.
I would also say those falling platforms are probably the most annoying part of this game.
The Yuku blocks of this game, for the Mega Man fans, yeah, if you can skip any of them with just one, like, you're already winning at this game. They're pretty janky. Sometimes they're not there, but they feel like they're still there, or sometimes you're not on them, but they still carry you down. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. So far, we haven't seen any gruesome deaths on the platforms, which is pretty amazing. We're already coming up to the Stage 4 mini-boss, which is just a little flying armor. You basically want to switch to laser and shoot it 4 times into the head, and then it's going to be a head only, and you shoot it twice more.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that is a Shredder ripoff of Ninja Turtles. They just took off his legs, made him blue, and made him fly.
Yeah, and we did mention that this game was actually intended to be a Terminator game. A couple weeks before release of the game, it was actually all a Terminator game, and we lost the contract to release the game. So I had to rework everything into what you see now, which is, I still call our main character Arnold here, but obviously it's not. But yeah, it's changed into these new space enemies and that. But you'll see, like, especially the last boss, to me, it's almost like T-1000.
Yeah, it's very much so. So it looks like Billy Mays has quietly slid into second place. He's about 11 seconds behind Zenka going into Stage 5.
Yeah, and it's going to start getting difficult to save time here, because we've got 3 of our 5 players on to the auto-scroller, the last stage. If you die here, it's a ton of time loss, and there's not many places that you can save time. So it's all going to come down to, if they take accidental deaths, and 2, the boss fights that are coming up, because there's 2 boss fights. There's some particular jumps, like the one we just seen Zenka do, is if you actually clip the wall, it's not one of those platformer games where you hold right and you're just going to fall into the hole, falling down. Like, it will drop you straight down into the hole. You can't move to the right, so you really have to perfectly jump into that slot.
Yeah, some of these jumps that you have to do in this section are just really painful. Overall, though, like you said, the stage isn't too bad. You just need to get a feel for it.
Sure. These particular boxes here have specific patterns, but they start in the order of, they are all proximity and visual based. So the farther you are on the right, the earlier you start the particular cycle. So these particular crushers, there's 3 in a row. If you do it too early, you can't walk past the second and third one, so you kind of have to wait till you see all 3 and then you go. Already approaching the before. Oh no, Zenka just took a death. That's a tough one. I mean, He also had to take a game over because he did try to
Do the death warps.
2 death warps, exactly, sorry. And that opens up Booba to win this one, or Billy Mays.
I was gonna say Billy's already on the boss.
Yeah.
Or the first boss, but
Excuse me. Okay. I can't even have time to breathe. There's so much stuff going on in this game. This boss has basically 2 orbs on each side that you can destroy. We'll see the first one was destroyed with 6 missiles, or grenade launchers, I believe it's called. And they'll switch to the regular weapon so that they can keep some missiles for the last boss. There's some fires at the bottom that you can get hit, but players at this point have already figured out how to avoid them so they don't take a lot of damage. They'll just kind of jump here and mash. You can mash 4 bullets into the core there if you're fast enough, but most players will do 3. Looks like we see Booba was able to do 4, and just look at the time he made up. This is going to be a photo finish.
yeah, it just depends. There's a pretty easy way that you can get into just kind of a jumping rhythm with this boss. Oh, it looks like Billy Mays is doing a kiting technique though.
Yeah, and that might cost them.
Yep, Booba's gonna save a lot of time here if he can pull this off.
Oh no.
And Booba died right as Billy Mays was finishing up.
And that's time for Billy Mays, which takes it with a 13:12 official SRL time.
Yeah, I mean 13:12 is a very, very good time.
Absolutely, and basically his consistent strats and not making major mistakes just kind of made him creep, because most of the race it was always Zenka and Booba in the front, and just not dying and not taking some terrible mistakes is really what cost both players. And this is a common theme in stage 5. Like you come here, you have 1 life, and there's some frame perfect tricks if you're going for like sub 10, and like you have to put everything on the line, but if you don't, it's just an extremely cost. Like just watching this ship go across, like just aggravating, time just ticking away.
Yeah, it's really rough if you don't get that first side kill. So then you have to wait, and you get to kill the one on the right, then you have to go all the way back and kill the one on the left. And Zenka just decided to take a death there.
Yeah, I don't know if it looks like he's playing around in his menu. He might have just said that he's not going to proceed. So Zenka already mentioned prior to the race that he was going to go for every hard strat, and whatever happens, happens. So ended up biting him today. Butters, in the meantime, is doing pretty good. Like, I think his PV's at 1445, so considering he's already on the last boss, that's a really good race for him. It looks like he's going to have to wait a second cycle so he can kill the first orb.
Yeah, it's a shame for Zenka. Like, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I really like watching people go for the toughest strats, but it just makes it that much tougher to actually be able to pull it off.
Yeah, and in the end, the clean game won today. That's why Billy is in there as the winner.
And we have pulled up Bitful on the bottom right now to showcase him a little bit. He is also making it through stage 5.
Yeah, and the Bidball only has played this game over the weekend, so considering that he's made it this far, and I think his P is like in 18 minutes. I don't even know if he's timing himself anymore, but yeah, to see him even clear this game, like you played it, like this game, just to clear it is no easy task.
Yeah,
so
this game is.
Runner just finished me off in the first place.
Yeah, this game is no joke.
We'll talk about it a little bit about the last boss because it went so fast. So he does crouch in front of you and he kind of does these punches, but you can do a rhythmic jump and land shots on his head and land up and down. And he's just going to keep doing it. And the hitbox is pretty generous. Like, it looks like sometimes he would sock you one, but doesn't quite hit you anyway.
I'd say the front end of the hitbox is very forgiving. The back end, definitely, if you land when his fist is just sitting out there, you're gonna take damage.
For sure. I mean, we've had 2 photo finishes here, or before the death, and we're basically going to see Booba giving it a second shot. Let's see if he does better, taking intentional death so he's full.
We'll see if Bitfault can get through this as well.
See, this is a pretty good fight by Booba. GG to Booba with 17-22 according to SRL, and Biddy's not far behind. I think he's only practiced this fight once last night, just before ending the stream. So the fact that he was able to clear it there,
Yes.
him.
Well, so that's everyone through, isn't it?
Yeah, that's GG to all 5 runners.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, like Zenka, like I think he obviously exhibited a lot of skill there. He just unfortunately couldn't get through all the warps.
Yeah, it's tough in a race. Like, you practice all week to do the best you can, and then come race day, you're kind of deciding on what you go for and what you don't go for. And sometimes that's what ends up biting you, because you end up doing something that you're not used to doing, and your muscle memory is against it. And sometimes,
Mannix, I do have to head out. Sorry, guys, I have somebody looking at my house. We have a house showing that I need to vacate the premises in the next 3 minutes. So I got to run. Hopefully, Billy Mays, if you want to jump in with Mannix for an interview, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, thank you guys.
No problem. I'll see if the runners want to take an interview. Just checking with the runners. See what's going on. Looks like Ibuba will be joining us. All right, everyone. We are joined by iBooba7, or Booba for short. How are you, my friend? Can you hear me, Booba? Looks like we are joined by Zenka Roshi as well. Does any of you have your microphone on?
Oh, give me a second. Give me a second, guys, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm here if anyone wants to speak with me.
Yeah, while Booba gets set up, I can talk to you first, Zenka. Your thoughts on the race? Like you said in chat that you felt ahead.
I mean, I had a pretty solid stage 1 and 2, I would say. I had to take a second death in stage 3 just to play the race safe, which resulted in a game over in stage 4 immediately. But I made up some of that with a warp. I could just not play well after that, so it is as it is. It's a pretty tough game in a no reset environment, and a lot can go wrong, especially around pits.
Yeah, I mean, what happened to you there at the boxes at the end is pretty unfortunate, and it has happened in attempts to all of us. But you had a pretty good race up to there, and it was going to be a photo finish before that point. But I don't want to spoil it all for you guys, but basically the person we didn't think was going to win ended up winning because Billy basically pulled ahead while you guys were making mistakes towards the end. But it's the nature of the game; like it doesn't always go well. But you did get a pretty good death warp I have found on stage 4.
Okay. The problem with that one is that if you want to go through that particular session normally, you need a camera manipulation to do that with the speed strat. Warping to that one, you don't have that setup, and you have to deal with the enemies the intended way, which is, well, and it's not typically something I practice either. So that one can be a really, really strong death trap.
Yeah, that's how I feel
Yeah.
about that one too. You never really know where it's going to warp you, and the initial setup is a lot easier, but after that, it's kind of messes up your usual patterns. Booba, is your mic working now?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry for
Okay.
the problem.
First of all, GG for you on the race as well. So you and Zenka were kind of maybe a couple screens apart before he took his death on the box. So you had the chance to win, and it looked like you were a little bit ahead, especially when you started doing the fast strat kill on the last boss. But you took an unfortunate death, and I believe it was a game over for you as well. So can you explain maybe what was going through your mind at that point? Did you feel like you were winning?
I wasn't sure. I didn't knew obviously that I was on first place, but I hadn't finished it yet. So I thought I had a chance. The problem, I think it wasn't that much the death I took on the last boss, but the damage I took on the stage. I think with those things that fall over you,
Right.
I needed that health to basically don't die the way I died to the boss.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you say, that caused a game over. Then that was
Yeah, and we've had a lot of runs in there, and there are times like we've all grinded it all week, so we know. We're gonna wrap it up soon here because I know that some people are in time constraints, but I just want to tell everybody what's gonna happen next. So because Billy Mays has won this race today, he's going to decide throughout July, because we're going to race sometime in July, which will be determined when in Discord. And he will pick 3 games that everybody will vote for, and then we'll go through a vote and we'll have a July race in very much the same fashion that you've seen today. So if you liked what you've seen today, follow the runners, check out our Discord. It is in the description of the channel, all at the bottom. We also have a Twitter and a YouTube, which have recently been updated, and we're going to keep it up for the next little bit. Do you two have anything you might want to add before we wrap it up?
no GG for Billy. It was a good run, I think.
I'm goddamn pissed.
We all know how
There's
you
someone in the
feel.
next race, I swear.
All right. So to everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks, Strizer, in the back end for restreaming. And we'll see you guys in July. Take it easy.